Hi, and welcome back to Thone's 1 Peter Nibbles number 81, A Word to Husbands. And this is part 5 of 6. Knowledge of Weakness is the subtitle here. And this comes from 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. What is weakness? So why is this in the Bible? Comparing the strength of men versus women as opposed to mankind versus God. Two different comparisons. The communication. Physical strength is relatively unimportant. It's not zero importance, but it is relatively unimportant. And the application to me. Here's an edited short section of thought from the Jameson, Fawcett, and Brown commentary, another large tome of commentary that was written a couple of hundred years ago. Both husband and wife are vessels in God's hand and of God's making to fulfill His gracious purposes. Both weak, the woman is the weaker. The sense of his own weakness, and that she, like himself, is God's vessel and fabric, ought to lead him to act with tender and wise consideration towards her, who is the weaker fabric, given honor to as being also heirs together. So, yes, she may be physically weaker. My wife Kathy, for example, was physically weaker than me. She had some medical issues, and I was an averagely strong male. So she was weaker than me. But in spirit, she was an incredibly strong person. So we have to look at the differences here. Physical strength is useful in a few situations. Spiritual strength is always useful. So the strength of a wife is often in her spirituality, and I freely admit that she was more spiritual than I. God leads us with spiritual strength is most important. And my response is, Lord, thanks for helping us ever recognize that our strength which is trivial, and it is our faith in your strength is important. And let's just think about it. We have God, who is infinitely strong, physically, emotionally, spiritually, everything. He has all that strength. And then we have a man and a woman who are married, and the man may be slightly physically stronger, but that's okay, but they are equally spiritually strong, and that is still, we must recognize that is hardly anything compared to the spiritual strength of God. So the differences in the strength between men and women, when you compare it to the infinite strength of God, is nothing. So why do we treat, other than recognizing the protective element, why do we treat anyone any different? So we'll talk next time.